Hi guys, so on today's video I'm gonna show you how to replace brake fluid on your Gio Titan or Gio Regal or Gio Titan Premium scooter, just like this one that I have. So if you don't know which scooter you have, Gio Titan or Gio Titan Premium, look on the back of the rear wheel. If you see a brake disc and those 4 lug nuts, that means that you have a Gio Titan Premium model. So it comes with hydraulic brakes on the back, not just on the front like in the previous Gio Regal or Gio Titan model. For this procedure I'm going to use a 6mm Allen wrench, 8mm wrench, Phillips screwdriver, this type of a brake bleeding pump that can be purchased under $25 at any auto parts store, but you can also do it manually if you don't want to buy it. And you will need a fresh DOT .3 or .4 brake fluid, so it does not really matter which one you're going to have, .3 or .4. Now let's start with removing mirrors. So the reason why I am doing this video, because some people been asking me how often do I need to replace my brake fluid. So I said, well, probably the best would be every 3 years, unless you live in a really humid climate like in Georgia or Florida. So removing this. Now next step would be removing with your screwdriver those screws. I already removed them to make this video shorter. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you have 5 on the side, and on the other side number 6. Now those 2 screws on the side would be bigger in size. Let me show you here. That's the size difference between the 4 of the small ones and 2 bigger ones. So 2 bigger ones goes on the side. Now once you remove those 6 screws in total, you're going to pry out this plastic headlight cover. So insert your fingers if you can underneath of this plastic and try to wiggle it and up to unclip this cover. As you can see, those holes, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 holes, they are clicked in those 5 tabs. That's how it's sitting. So, and then next step would be unplugging your headlight connector plug. Okay, now this is the master cylinder on the right hand side. This one is pumping and stopping your front wheel. Before you're going to open this cap, use rag, so you can cover all of the electrical connectors and the paint of your scooter. Otherwise, if any of the brake fluid will be dripping down, it's going to damage your paint and it will peel off. Now next warning would be, use a proper screwdriver for those 2 screws, because if you're going to use too small size of a screwdriver or too big, you're going to strip those bolts. And if you strip them, there is no other way how to remove them. You will need to drill them out, or even replacing the entire master cylinder, because you strip those 2 bolts. So if you never replace the brake fluid and your scooter is a couple of years old, use a right screwdriver and be gentle when you will be removing this screw. So my scooter is new, so it's easy to remove, but the casing is made of aluminum and the bolt is metal, so they don't like each other that much and they get corroded. So now gently removing the cap. Underneath of the cap you have this rubber seal that stays with the lid with this cap, and now you look and my master cylinder is full with brake fluid. So if your master cylinder is not full but halfway full, so top it off until it's completely full. Now turn your steering handle to the position that is going to be perfectly level for you, so you can add fluid that it will not be over will not be leaking only on one side, left or right, so it will be more or less even on both sides. Now I'm going to use my towel paper a little bit on the edges. Okay, now my advice would be to close this cap for a couple seconds while you'll be doing some, oh, see, my brake fluid is leaking now, and that's why I needed that rack, because it was full. That's normal. Now why I'm installing this lid back and just keeping it in place, because of the, if you're going to be doing priming, if you're going to prime your brake fluid with your hand a couple times, this brake fluid will be jumping up and like a fountain, and it will be leaking all over. So that's why this lid will be preventing from spraying over this brake fluid from jumping up. Okay, now my next would be, I'm going to the down to my master brake cylinder, and so if you're going to buy this type of a pump, manual pump, it will come with this rubber adapter already. But if you're not going to have this adapter for this piece right here, you can just use this clear hose directly into the bleeding screw. But my advice would be, like in my case, I would use a plastic zip tie to hold it in place firmly, that it will not get loose. Okay, just like this. Now I'm going to connect it to my reservoir, and so this is only if you don't have such a, well, this one came off. Okay, well, let's use original design in my case, but you got the idea. So the zip tie will actually help you if you have a clear hose. Now we're going to crack this 8mm screw, like half of a turn, but before you're going to crack it, prime your pump. All the way to 15 psi, which is going to lose a little bit of air, which is no big deal as long as you have some of the air coming. And then I'm going to lose it, and you can see my brake fluid is going down. Now we're going to retighten it. Try it again. And look at the gauge. You're going to lose some of the pressure. That's normal, don't worry about that, because the reservoir, this reservoir is not tight. And then, as you can see, my brake fluid is going down again, and retighten it. Now we did it 2 times. Now let's go and top off my the top cylinder. As you can see, half of the brake fluid is already gone, so that's good. Let's top it off. Now if you're not going to prime it manually with a hand, like, let me show you what's going to happen if you don't put this lid. You can see, like this. So that's why you want to put lid, close this reservoir when you prime it manually. But if you're doing it with a pump, you don't need to put this lid. So this screw is tight now. Let's prime it a couple times. So 15 psi or so, and then get loose. Look, my brake fluid is going down through the clear hose. So let's tighten it. Okay. let's look if we lost any of the, if the level dropped, and it's dropped. As you can see, I hope you can see it on the resolution is good. So let's do it one more time. And let's prime it for the last time. Bleed the system on the caliper. So, okay. So the screw is tight now. Create vacuum with a hand pump between 15 and 20 psi, and then loosen this screw. Look, in the brake fluid is going down because the vacuum is sucking it, closing the screw. And looking again, the level dropped a little bit, but this is normal and acceptable because once we're going to install this lid, it's going to be full again. Now let me show you how you would be doing this if you would not have a hand pump. So you still would need, this is how much we replace the fluid. Maybe it's going to be exactly the same amount in your case. Now if you're going to be doing manually, you just need the reservoir and top off your master cylinder. Maybe you want to ask somebody to bleed the system for you. So the idea is, as I told you before, to avoid spilling, and just put this lid on the top and maybe slightly hold it with the screws. Okay, and then the idea is that you're going to press brake lever and hold it while cracking this screw right here, and then watch for the system, for the brake fluid going down. As you can see, well, maybe not, you didn't see it, but how I know that my brake lever, it's actually became spongy and now it's touching the accelerator handle. So that's how I know that some of the amount of the brake fluid went into that reservoir. Now I'm going to release the brake lever and try to prime it. And now you can see I cannot touch the handle anymore because there is a pressure built. My master cylinder is holding the pressure. The system is working well. Now I'm going to hold it again. I cannot press it any more than that. You see how much gap I have. So I'm holding with my one hand, and with my other hand I'm cracking the screw. And now my clear hose will be also, you might see that, well, maybe on the camera. I hope that you will see the brake fluid is going so okay. And now look at my handle. My handle became spongy again, so that's good because some of the brake fluid went into the reservoir. So I'm losing it and I'm trying to build it. As soon as I build it, it's holding the pressure. That's how it's supposed to be. So if you trying to bleed the system and your handle still spongy and it's not stiff like supposed to be, and your scooter is moving, so you can actually roll your scooter and hold the handle and the scooter still moving. That means that your master cylinder either defective or you have air in the system, so you have to bleed it all over again. That's why that hand pump would be very useful and very quick of bleeding the system without any second person helping you and without pumping it and holding with your other hand. Now this is how it's done on the front of the scooter. And again, this procedure only for those people that brakes are working fine and your handle is not spongy and your scooter is actually stopping. So you're just doing routine maintenance every 2-3 years, replacing fluid. But if your scooter, if brakes on your scooter were not working properly before you start this procedure, and and after the procedure nothing changed, that means that your master cylinder needs to be replaced, because there is internal seals, but there is no such a rebuild kits to you know, replace those seals. The company sell the entire brake handle, master cylinder, and the brake caliper as an entire system, just a plug and play basically, and it's all pressurized already, so you don't have to refill it with the brake fluid. You just need to install it here and up, and you're good to go. Now, if you have a Gio Titan premium model, like this scooter that I showing you, you have a rear brakes on the back also. You will be doing exactly the same procedure as I showed you before, but on each cylinder, on each wheel. Exactly the same procedure. There is your bleeding screw right here on this side, and on the other side also exactly the same brake caliper. So it doesn't matter which side you're going to do first, because the system is pretty short, and the left and right does not make any difference as long as you do it properly, that you don't have any air bubble, and you're using the right brake fluid .3 or .4. So the rear one you will be doing on this side, on the left handle, which is responsible for rear. Now, there was a question from one guy that asking me, can I swap the handles left to right so I can brake it with my right hand side, and I will be coming to a complete stop with only rear wheels but braking on the right side? You don't need to swap handles or master cylinders. All you need to do, just loosen this screw, bolt, and same on this side, and swap them between each other. So this line will be going into this side of the scooter, and this line, which is left line, will be going to the right. But then you will have air in the system, and you will need to do this bleeding procedure just like I showed you a couple minutes ago. So before you're going to install your caps, if it's a left hand side or right hand side, make sure that you have a proper level of fluid. So open one more time. Now be careful with those screws, because if you damage them, mine is almost full, and I can see a little bubble on this side level window, and that's what you want to see, this little bubble. You can even top it off slightly more if you want to, and then you can close this lid and everything back like it was. Clean everything with a brake cleaner. Brake cleaner will not damage any of your paint, by the way, but brake fluid will damage. So you can buy the brake cleaner at any auto parts store. I think this is not a new that I'm showing you, but still, and make sure that everything is working again, and your brake lever is stiff like it's supposed to be, and the scooter is not rolling when you try to push it. Okay, well, I hope it was helpful for you, and stay safe. Bye.